this point on. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let me share my screen. So you can see the screen now, right?
Yeah.
I've already started a project called ASP20 number 3. And what I want to do is I want to go in and where'd all my properties go? There. Just didn't have it there. I want to go out here and I want to add my form to this one, right? So I want to add a new item, and the new item I want to put in here is a new web form, right? And that's what we've been doing all along. And if I go to the design view, we'll see where we need to start at. All I want to do is I really could care less about the actual, there's Cherry, he's a little late to the party. I want to go through and work with array lists and just deal with that alone, okay? Because that'll make everything work a lot smoother than doing the actual arrays. So I'm going to come through here. I'm going to insert a table about a 5x2. Okay. Let's go through here and put a text box up here.
I'm out.
Do what?
I'm out.
Sounds more like Urkel.
Oh.
All right, then I'm going to come back with a list box. Put it in here. And then I want to put a button out here to the right, okay? And what we want to do with this button, I'm just going to have it say add, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to type a name in and click add, and it's going to throw it into an array. And eventually I'm going to turn around and put another button out here beside it, and this button is going to be used to print the array, okay? Sound good?
Okay.
So here we go on my add button. I bring up my code here. Again, kind of like everything else, I have to define within this a globalized, so to speak, array list, right? So I want to come in here and I want to dim this so it's available in this form. And I want to come through here, AL as a new array list. I can type right. Correct? So that creates my array list. And then down here, I'm not going to do anything on the page load, but in the button, when I click this, I need to come through and define a temp field. Did someone else try to add it? Yeah, there's James. All right, hello, James. Okay, so I'm going to define temp as a string field, right? And I need to come through here and say temp is going to be equal to text box 1 dot text, just like we did in VB, right?
You have a P instead of an L.
Yeah, I see that. Well, I was on the right track. There we go. How's that?
There you go.
Okay, so I capture the temp, and then just like I did with array list in VB, to add to the array list, we just tell it to add, and then we add whatever we want to put in there, right?
Okay.
So make sure this ran, even though we're not going to see it. Let's come back and say text box 1 dot clear. Ooh, we don't have that option, do we? So there we go. So that will clear it out, right? So
Okay.
if I go through and run this right now, well, you're going to have to give me a minute, because when I run it, it's got to do all its funky stuff again and give me errors. Yes, I want to accept the risk and run it.
Do you want us to view that? Because we can't see that.
I'm working on getting my screen up and running, so when it does, now I can go through and share it with you. All right. Now you can see it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was waiting on it to do that. Why does Cherry sound like a robot today?
Connection.
Yeah, his internet isn't great.
Yeah, so here's Cherry. I'm adding him to the array list. Here's Bob and so forth, right? So we're not doing anything in the list box as we speak, but just have to understand that it's throwing it out there to the array list, correct?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to shut that down. Yes, I know I didn't do that. So now I got to come back out here and share this again. Okay, so now if we go up here to our web form, JD, you still with us?
No.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know if you're, how's sleep working now with no work?
It's been horrible, dude. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Where are you, now what casino are you at, Quapaw?
Yeah.
Are they paying?
They paid the first 2 weeks. Now I'm
And
on.
that's it?
Yeah. Now I'm on furlough.
I went and I talked to the chief of the Wyandotte tribe, and I asked him about what they're doing for their employees. And he said, "Hey, we've stockpiled money for like 7 years, so we can operate for 7 years with no income coming into the casino." And
I wish airlines were like that and other businesses were like that.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
they have a little
Quapaw
more
didn't do
free.
that.
No, they're too busy spending. All right, so the second button, this is going to be printing that array list, correct? So if I want to print an array list, what do I got to do?
Don't you have to convert it to string?
Okay, so I'm going to come through and create a string field to hold it when I pull it out, right? I'm also need a for loop to go through, so I know I'll need I, and I'll say C. These are both decimals. C is going to be count. I is going to be my for loop, right? So before we get going, we got to determine how big that array list is. So remember, we had al.count, right?
Right.
If it had 5 in there, I needed to set a for loop up for 0 to C minus 1, correct?
Right.
All of the arrays start at element 0 as opposed to 1. So this will 0 through 4 would give me 5 elements, right? And then I need to come through here and say temp is going to be equal to AL sub I, right? But because that array list is a object, I have to convert it to string, like Christian said. Okay, so there's the temp, and then I can come back and say list box 1 dot items, right? Dot add, and what I want to add is what?
Temp.
Temp. Now, another thing we can do, right when we first go in here, if I want to put them in alphabetical order, remember I can just come through here and tell it to sort it. Okay?
Right.
So let's,
ascending or descending?
if you want to do it descending, I think you have to do, let me look that up. That puts it in ascending order from A to Z or 0 to 10. Okay? That's the default. I think it's DESC, descending on there is an option. I'll have to look that up, but there was a way to go through and modify that. Okay. So let's run this one and see if it works. All right. It's going to take me a second here, Jay. Well, no, actually it didn't. Acted like it ran correctly that time. So here we go. We had Cherry, right? We had Bob, Steve, And then come back one more. Nope.
Mhm.
This was the old version that was running. That's why it wasn't working right. Okay. Let me rerun it real quick. Okay. Okay, so let's try it again. Can you see it now? Bob,
Yeah.
I can just put 2 and be good. It's not doing it though. What are we missing here?
Go back to the code real quick.
Okay, so hang on here. Go back to share that one. I'm going to go back and can the Firefox. All right, there's my code. Here's a way we can go through and check stuff though, without having to rewrite code. I'm going to do both of those, and just to see where we're at. Wasn't C, didn't that tell me how big it is?
Yeah, see this count.
So I can do C.toString, and that'll at least tell me how big it is. Because I have a feeling what's happening here is we are losing our array's value. Okay? Are you following me there?
I don't think so.
I think we should have to set one.
Pardon?
I think we still have to set one value for.
I don't know. Do we need to initialize the value for C? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay, so there's that. So if I hit print, I should get what?
I mean, you should get the count at least, but it doesn't want to.
It's not wanting to throw it in there. Okay, so what are we doing here? Because that should go through and do it. I know I'm not using temp. I'm defining those. See, we used to have to put static in there. Remember that?
I mean, yeah.
We're public.
Do what?
I think this is still public one.
Well, as long as we're within the class, aren't we good?
Should be.
Yeah.
Because we would get an error if it didn't exist, and we're not getting an error for it not existing. Okay, here's my question. Before, when we went from one form to the other, what do we have to do?
We had to save it as a session variable. Do you think we have to save it as a session variable?
I don't know. Let's try this. Because as soon as I click, that's reloading the screen, right?
Right.
So on this, let's do this. Session, or hold on. Except AL is going to be what? Let's just call it A list, okay? So we have a different name for it. Right? So when we load the page back up, well, we wouldn't need to do that. when we come back into it, we would need to say AL is equal to what?
A is equal to session.
Right?
Right.
So we load it, we capture, we add to it, we save it back. So right here, when we load to it, we're never going to add. So before we use it, right here, all we need to do is say session A list. Or no, what do we need to do here? I need to do the top one, didn't I? AL equals session
A list.
list. Right? Okay, let's see if that works now. Okay, now I think we're on the right screen. So here's Bob. We add Bob. It crashed on us.
Hmm.
It's over 9,000.
Do what?
It's a reference to a show. It's a reference to a
Dragon
show
Ball
I watched.
Z.
Yep. I mean, wait, I don't even, was that Dragon Ball Z or was that just Dragon Ball?
That was Dragon Ball Z.
That was Dragon Ball Z.
You guys are over my head. Let's get back to this.
Well, I mean, it's still not working.
I know, but look, if we look at temp, it had the value of Bob in it.
Right.
Object reference not set to an instance of an object. But it gave us the values of them.
Oh, why the freak did I use that?
AL had nothing in it. Well, the first time through, it's not going to have anything in it. And temp is defined as a string. Check to open the exception handler. All right, help me out here.
Looking at the Firefox page.
Hmm?
We're still looking at the Firefox page.
Oh, I'm sorry. You with me now?
Yeah.
No.
Temp has a value. AL doesn't. The first time through, we've loaded nothing into the array list. Let's do this. Let's take that line out. No.
Do you think on load we should add like just a blank space to the array list so we can have something? Is that the problem? Is that the array list has nothing in it on the?
And to do an add though to an array list, it doesn't have to have anything.
Hmm.
So let me go out here real quick. I'm going to Google and I'm Googling array list in ASP.NET VB and see if I have any examples. Array list class. I'm ASP.NET array list. Dim it as new. Add to it, add to it. I mean, that all sounds.
Let's see.
But it's not dealing with it in HTML.
Web3 schools.
I don't think it has it.
It has ASP and ASP.NET, but I don't
Um,
see array.
It might not be Visual Basic though.
Yeah,
Might be a different language.
yeah. So here we go. On this one on load, let's just try this real quick. Let's say al.add, and then let's go through here and put the names in manually, okay? Okay, so I've manually loaded 3 names in, okay? And what I'm doing right here is I'm going to come through immediately. I'm going to get rid of that line and immediately try to print it, okay? So here we go. I'm going to run it. Share the VB one or the Firefox, right? So I should already have 3 names in, correct?
Yep.
So when I hit print, I should get 3s. So it's counting them there, even though it's doing it on load. When I go to the other method, it's counting them, right?
Right.
Okay. So that's a. So now if I come back and click add, get rid of this, get rid of this, we should be back to where we were before, correct? Okay, so I'm gonna run it again.
So it is counting it now.
It's counting it. Somebody's beeping. Okay, so now by doing this, this should add you to it now, Christian. So
Right.
instead of 3, we should have 4.
Huh.
Not adding. It acts like it's not
That's the
adding.
thing.
That or it's not counting it properly.
Well, no, it's counting it. It's counting these 3 up here, but for some reason, it's not adding this to the list. So instead of dealing with temp, let's try this one. Right? And when I hit add, I'm manually going to add Christian, okay?
Okay, Christian.
Why did I get that all of a sudden? Oh, because I didn't turn off the, there.
Okay.
I was like trying to figure out why. Here we go. Let's run it again. I don't know where my screen went. There. I clicked on it too quick to share it. So now if I hit add, it'll add Christian to it. And when I print, I should be at 4, correct?
Weird.
Still not working, right?
No.
Why?
Because we're stupid.
Relation between the add and the text. I mean the list box thing.
Let me do this. Every time I click this object right here, anytime I click either one of these events, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It reloads the page. When it reloads the page, regardless of what's in that array list, it wipes it out and then brings it back.
So does that mean that all of them would have to be in session variables? Well, we tried that.
We tried the array list. What we need to go out, somebody go out and help me here. Let's go out and Google array list in a session variable. Okay, the first two I get are okay.
Under dim, you need to put AL equals session and or sorry, yeah, AL equals session.
Hold on.
Bracket parenthesis array list.
Right up here where I said DAL. Say that again.
You need to put AL equals session bracket parentheses array list.
A list.
No, underneath dim. It'll be a whole new line.
Okay. Right after that, then turn around and say what?
AL equals session.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so that defines the session right there, but I'm getting an error on AL. That has to be in the load.
Well, then it says for storing, you'll use session bracket parenthesis array list equals AL.
Yeah, this loads it. And the other one we did saved it.
Look at, let's say, I think me and JD are looking at the same thing. I put a link in chat that has maybe something that can help. Because it's in the ASP forums on the Microsoft page.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too, Kristen.
But see, but it's not right underneath the dim. Oh, you know what? What they're saying is, JD, what you're getting at is come back and dim it right here, AL again as a new array list, correct? So you have to redim the array list in each method. And then,
Oh.
hang on. Right. And then when I come in here on load, I don't do anything, correct? But when I come in here, right here, if I add to it like we were doing before, so let's take this out. Okay. Hold on. I get the right key. Okay, so, and I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to add this back in. Okay. So after I capture it, write to it, because now it's an active, what it's doing is it's losing the array list period. So right here, I add temp to it, correct? Get rid of it up here globally. So I redefine it each step. Okay. So after I create the array list, I capture, I add to it. And then when I'm done, I save it to the session. Is that what you guys were getting at? Kind of combine it like we did earlier. Right? Then when I come into this one, I have to bring AL is equal to session quote A list. Not minus. Somehow I've hit my insert key. Give me a second. There. Do you see where I'm at here?
Yes.
And then right here, first time through, I have to say AL equals session load A list. So it loads it, and if there's nothing in there, so right here on the A list, no, that'll zero it back out. So let's just try this, okay? First time we run it, there's going to have to be a formula in here that we have a switch that first time through it runs it. Okay, so on page load, I'm coming through here and I'm going to say dim, or no, I'm going to say session. What I'm doing first is to trigger it the first time. The first time I don't want to load anything to the array list because the first time through it's going to be set, correct? Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
First time around. So when I come through here, I'm going to say session switch. And the first time through, I'm giving it a value of 0. Okay. And right here, before I do this little if statement, I'm going to say if session the session switch equals 0, right? If that's the case, then I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to come through here and say, what do we want to do? We'll do this right here. Copy, place it in here. Except that's not working, is it? There. Else, if it falls through, that means that switch is something other than 0, correct? Are you with me here? Okay, so if it comes through here and the switch is still a 0, and it's going to do it one time, right? But is that going to load it back in again every time the page loads? Everybody's quiet. Are you seeing what I'm trying to do, but I see the error in what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay, so somehow we have to determine if that switch even exists. Somebody Google how to determine if an array list, a session variable exists.
How to determine if it what?
If it even existed. Because see, here's the deal. If I set this equal to 0 when it loads, every time it refreshes, it's going to reload and reset it to 0, correct?
Right.
So that's not going to work. Because see, like right here, we saved the A list to a session, but this if statement on load, I wonder if we could tell if the array list is null. You see what I'm getting at? Instead of the session itself, if I do it with the session A list exists. Is null. See, I'm getting in there. You see what I'm trying to get at is if this variable even exists in memory. Because first time we do this, it won't, correct?
Right.
So I can't set it on a page load to initialize it. I just have to check to see if it's even there. Okay, I'm going out to Google real quick.
This one thing I'm looking at, it says set up an if statement.
But what's the coding in it?
Look in the chat, Chip.
I've got like 3 screens going. That's my problem. Okay, let me blow this up full screen. Let me go back. Okay, I see the chat now. Okay. If session dot is new session. Boy. So if we can go through here. So with that if statement right there, we can just say if session dot is new session, right?
Right.
Okay, but that's a whole new method right there. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I thank you. That helps out quite a bit. But what we're looking at, so right here, instead of checking that session variable, we need to check to see if session dot is new, right?
Yeah, session is new session.
Then create it. If it's not a new session, then pull the existing and go. Let's see if this works. Okay. So let's go through and make sure we modified where all of it's working now. Well, this is still just the count, so we should be good, right? Okay. I did it too early again. There. Okay, now you can see the session.
Yeah.
Go, and this is where we had to come through and add them on our own now. Okay. And now if I hit print, I should, if it's working, I got 3 in there. So now if I come back here and Garrett, and then I add it, we're at 4. Guess what?
Hey.
It's working now. That's what we needed. So now we can go back and finish our coding and make sure it's correct. Right? Okay, so now down here, I was just missing that one deal. Count right here. All I got to do is delete that. delete that. Correct?
Right.
And now we should be good. So let's try it again. Dang, that's like pulling teeth, wasn't it?
We-
Hey, that's normal.
yeah, I would say this is kind of the norm with us.
This is how you learn how to debug, though, regardless of what you think.
No, it's Noah.
Ooh, we're still getting the count number though.
Oh, yeah, because I put count in there, but we're getting part of it, though, right?
Yeah, we are though. Yeah.
And so
Whoa,
now if I
no.
came back and I put James in there and added him, now we should have it all over again with James, right?
Yay.
Okay. So there we go. Yes, I know. I turned the one off you were watching. And I've got to go back up here and reshare this one. Okay. So now we added the temp right here. We want to take that one out, right?
Right.
And each time we bounce into this on the print, also right in here, I want to clear out the list box. Okay.
Okay.
And that should take care of all of our problems. One last final thing here. Getting good, a little bit better at bouncing back and forth. Here we have JD. We have Steve. We have,
Hey,
boom. We should have 3. There they are. I come back and I add Christian and Noah. Sorry, Jonah. Clear it out. Bingo. Right?
Yay.
Okay, so let's go back and recap the chaos, which we were close. I was just trying to figure out what one we were trying to do, just how to do it. We knew we were getting caught in
The reloads.
we couldn't load a new value in because every time the screen refreshed, correct?
Right.
And then so that was throwing it out. But what we needed was, if this is a brand new session, first time through, create the array list, then write the session variable. If it already existed, just pull the array list from the session variable, add to it, and store it back. Okay?
Okay.
Questions, comments?
Just looking at the code.
Between Tuesday, now and Tuesday, I'll put this video up. I'll also put the code and the form up on a document, and then I'll create another like app program with it, with a little more detailed stuff, like putting 2 or 3 fields together and then pulling the, like searching for the comma and then separating them and back out into 2 fields. And when we put an example on like that, and we'll keep working on our Ajax program and try to get it done. All right.
All right.
It
So
sounds good.
you recorded
Okay.
today?
I believe I did.
Yeah, it says recorded.
I think it's recording.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look right up here at this button, it's
Yeah.
recording. So we should be good. And that way I can throw that video. And I'll put the video back out on YouTube so it's closed caption. It's not storing it into D2L. All right.
All right.
Alrighty.
Anybody else got questions on anything?
I don't think so.
Did we lose
Take
JD, or we got everybody out here now?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, my screen like went, it's not in full screen, so I'm not seeing everybody again.
So on Thursday we have the Ajax
Thursday,
due, and
yeah, you'll just be working on Ajax, and I'll try to upload another example for you to look at for that. Then next Tuesday, again in the afternoon, we'll do Zoom again. Is one day a week all right with this for you guys?
Yep.
You know, I don't want to hammer you all the time on Zoom, but I think we get more out of it just working through stuff. All right.
Right.
And it's kind of a hybrid approach. Also, enrollment. For the ones that are going to need to enroll, I need you to set up a meeting on that link that I sent to you.
Right. Right.
I enrolled one earlier, about 11 today. Of course, with her, I didn't have to do a grad check sheet or anything. It only took about 10, 15 minutes. Just make sure your holds are released and you got your banner pin. All right?
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you
Adios.
tomorrow. We won't be live on anything. I've got stuff online. Okay. Doubt if we will have an assignment. Just probably watch those videos and look over some stuff. Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
And then Thursday, we're not meeting. So we won't be meeting anymore this week unless I got to do an enrollment with you. And then next week we'll go Monday and Tuesday again. I really don't think we need to work on systems. Do you guys?
No.
Yeah,
No,
I
then we
think
have a
it's
book and
something we
everything
can
for
do
that.
on our own. Okay. All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Okay.
See you,
See
Chip.
guys. Thanks.
Chip.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Garrett.